For the next 9 weeks, I'm going to be living in this van all by myself, and I've had a lot of questions about what solo van life is all about, and in this video I want to show you. If you're new to our channel, you may think that we're travelling full time because we put out a video each week, but that's not actually the case. Here's the thing, van life is not always travelling, it just means that you live in a van. Nigel still works in his career because he absolutely loves it. He's a helicopter pilot, he loves flying, he's currently flying in Saudi Arabia. But the reality is, when Nigel's here, we're so busy travelling and we just do a whole lot of filming. And when he goes back to work, it's my job to edit all that footage into the videos that you watch each week. And I'm also working on our website, which has travel guides and just a general travel blog. So the thing is, I pretty much work full-time from the van. I live here, it's been my home for almost 3 years now. And I can be anywhere, so long as I've got a good stable internet connection, I can just work from the van. I wanted to come on and answer some of those questions that I do get a lot about what it is like to live in the van full time. Well, one of the questions that I get is, where do I stay? So I use the Wikicamps app to try and find places, and I always look for campsites that are free or donation-based campsites. And this week I am staying in a beautiful campsite here. I'm near the town of Daylesford in Victoria. I'm at a place called Mount Franklin, and this beautiful campsite, it's nice and it's spread out. This is actually in the middle of an extinct volcanic crater. Today's a Tuesday, so it's not too busy, even though it's the school holidays. On Saturday night it was quite busy here and a bit loud with some youngsters partying, but they're going to do what they're going to do, right? So it's been great for me to be able to stay here. As I said, I'm trying to see the tower. The tower's just up the hill there somewhere. The internet here is great. There's a toilet block here, but there's no water. So I do have to leave every couple of days to go and fill up my water tank and pick up food, that sort of thing. But Daylesford's only a 15-minute drive down the road, so I can do that. Probably the most common question I get asked about living in the van on my own is, am I ever scared? Am I ever concerned about safety? The reality is I feel really safe and secure in the van. I'll just lock it up at night and I feel nice and secure in my little home. But there are a couple of things that we incorporated into our build to help me feel that way, and there's also a couple of things that I'm always really careful to do when I'm parking up. So the first thing is I always trust my gut. If I get to a place and it just feels off, or if the other campers are a bit weird, I'll just move. There was a campsite that I stayed at last year in WA, and I pulled up at the first spot and there was like a solo guy camped near me, and he just seemed a bit weird, like he kept staring. So I moved over and went over to the other side of the campsite and parked in between a couple of grey nomads in their caravans. So one of the things that we really made sure of, don't mind my dirty dishes, was that we had really good access from the bed and the living area straight through to the driver's seat. So if I ever need to make a quick getaway, I can. And another thing, and this is always one of my tips to solo females, is park your van so that you can drive straight out. You don't want to be mucking around reversing. So here there's quite a few of the actual campsites, which are kind of roped off areas of the park, like this one here. Now, firstly, it's not very level. And secondly, if I was to reverse into here, my head would be down. So that's why I'm not staying in one of these. But if I'm staying in a spot like this, I would always reverse in so that I can drive straight out. Just that little bit of extra security. And you might be able to see that van down there. They've done exactly that. Smart move. I bet that's a solo female. Now, having said that, in 3 years in the van, I've never had to make the quick getaway, but at least I feel secure knowing that I've got myself set up that I absolutely can, should the need ever arise. One of my favourite things about this campsite is that you can walk up and around the volcanic crater. It's a good test for my fitness, walking up here. Very steep, but I would always rather do the steep part on the way up than going back down. It's actually a really good heart starter walking up here. So I'm just about at the end of the rough track, which means the top of the hill. So this is why the internet's so good here. There's the mobile phone tower right at the top of the hill. So the campsite's just down there. Sadly, the views are not very good from here because of the plantation. Kind of blocks all the views. So the electricity wires go up to the little shed where the mobile phone mast is, and then just up here they go down the hill. And this is like pretty much the only place on this entire walk where you get a view. This is probably the best views of the crater here. I don't know if you guys can see beyond these trees here, but that ridge line is the other side of the crater, and it continues all the way around up to where I'm walking here. So this walking track goes all the way along the top of the crater, which is kind of cool. So on this little sojourn into solo van life, I've spent time both here at the Mount Franklin campsite. I also spent a bit of time at the Green Lake free camp or donation camp near Ararat. And while I was there, I kind of filmed a little bit more of a day in the life. So firstly, let's show you a little bit around this campsite where I'm at. So I'm in a little town called Ararat, and this is a place called Green Hill Lake. It's a free camp or donation camp. As you can see, I'm right by the lake. Try not to show too much of other campers. There are toilets here. They're just over there. You might be able to see there's bins, more bins. There's a dump point, a water tap. So pretty much everything that I need to stay here. Now you can stay here for 5 days at a time, after which you need a permit, and then you can stay for 28 days. I'm only going to stay for 5. I actually came for a couple of... Oh, hello bird. Check this bird out. Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to fly in the van. Imagine if he came in the van. Go away, shoo. These guys over here in the fifth wheeler, it sounds like they've got their diesel heater on. They came in last night and they actually pulled up right next to me and right outside my door. I had to give them the stink eye because they were blocking my beautiful view of the lake. Okay, I've got that caravan there too, but anyway, I didn't want them super close. Good morning. I've just woken up. It's so cold this morning. It's definitely getting a little bit warmer. It was actually for 3 degrees overnight, and even now at 8 a.m. it's still only 4 degrees. First thing I'm going to do is make a cup of tea, and I might take down some of the window covers just in case there's a little bit of sun going to hit the windows and warm the place up. Look at all that condensation, but there is sun, so that will be good in a while when it comes through those trees. So one of my biggest concerns when I'm just parked up like this is what's happening with my solar. So yesterday and the day before it was pretty overcast all day. In fact, yesterday it rained quite a lot of the day. So first thing I do in the morning as I'm making my tea is I check the battery level. So I'm currently sitting there at 57%, It looks like we're going to have a bit of sun today, so that's good news. It is currently still going down. I need to have that going positive at least 100 to get my batteries up where I want it. We've got lithium, so we can run them right down. It's not like we have to panic when it gets to 50%, but I still don't really like it going below 50. Obviously I can drive the vehicle and that will charge the battery, but to charge it all the way back up I'd have to drive a long way, and that's time, and I don't really want to do that. So I would be more inclined to go and spend $30 and stay in a caravan park on a powered site and just plug in and charge up my battery. So we do have that option available to us if we decide to. One of the questions I have been asked is whether I bother cooking when I'm in the van by myself, whether I just eat snacks or go out to eat. And in actual fact, I cook almost every meal, so I do tend to run out of gas fairly quickly. So we always say it always happens at night. I was just standing here stark naked, about to get in the shower. I've got the oven on, I've got the stove on, I'm cooking my dinner, it's beautiful and warm in here. And what happens? The gas runs out. So now I have to go out there in the cold to change the bottle. Oh, this sucks. So my smoothie bowl consists of banana, some frozen berries, I'm going to put in some rolled oats today, some chia seeds. I never measure, just chuck a bit in, a little bit of water. So I'm going to decorate this with some seeds, some flaked coconut, maybe a fresh strawberry. And there you have it. Bon appetit. Though it actually looks quite pleasant outside, it's a little bit sunny, but I think it's still only about 10 degrees out there. Okay, so it's got up to 62. We do have 370 watts of solar on the roof. The issue is, of course, being winter, the sun is so low in the sky, it's not shining directly onto them. It would be good if I could get up and angle them, but I can't do that on my own. This is what I tend to do when I'm living van life all by myself. I just work. Which is great. I get a whole lot done. I do have the number one item I always put on my to-do list is to exercise. So I try and go out in the warmest part of the day when it's crazy cold like it is today. So I'll probably go out just after lunch. Okay, so it's time to make some lunch now. I've done a couple of hours of work. I'm actually just going to heat up some leftovers from last night's dinner. I have to heat up in the fry pan. I don't have a microwave. Got to reduce the amount of dishes that I'm using, obviously. So today I'm just having leftovers from yesterday's dinner, and it's like a couscous dish. I threw some pistachio nuts in it and drizzled some chili oil. Next job for today is to clean the van. One of the really cool things about this camp is to have heaps of rubbish bins everywhere, so I don't even have to walk very far. Check the mud though. That's how much rain we had in the last couple of days. Wow. And I'm pretty sure these bins got emptied this morning, so they must get emptied every couple of days. I'm about to go out for my exercise now. One of the hardest things about being on the road has always been keeping a routine, and I know that when we're actually travelling, we both, Nigel and I, really struggle with that. When I am in the van on my own, particularly when I'm parked up for a few days like I am at the moment. I actually find it a lot easier to get into that routine, particularly working out. So I guess that's a plus. So there are all these spots that you can camp here right on the lake, like this guy down there, but they're not actually very level. I came down here the first day, but I couldn't find a spot that was nice and level, and I was also a bit worried about the rain that was coming. So the spot that I'm in now is perfectly level. So I've just done a big workout. Now I really need to have a shower, but my water tank is empty. I need to go and fill up the water tanks. While I'm over there, I'm going to empty out the toilet as well. Now, usually when I do this, someone sneaks into my awesome camping spot. I'm really hoping I don't lose my spot today, because I have got a primo spot, and particularly now those people in their fifth wheeler have disappeared. I've got my beautiful lakeside view back. Look at this. Well, okay, there is that caravan there, but that's okay. It's just beautiful here. Oh, happy day, friends. I slotted straight back into my awesome camping spot. No one pinched it while I was over there having a shower. In answer to that question, do I cook in the van? Tonight I'm actually making pizza in the van. So yeah, from scratch, pizza dough. This is something that we really love to do in the van. If you guys have been watching for a while, you'll know the trials and tribulations of us trying to get pizza right. So we'll see how we go tonight. Good news is the battery is now up to 82%. Happy about that. We've got full power back. I've managed to get heaps of work done today. I've finished, or almost finished, editing the next movie. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with how today went. Got the van cleaned up a little bit. I've got pizza dough almost ready, almost finished rising. I've made some pesto, and I'm going to have pesto potato pizza for dinner. Pizza's in the oven. It's gotten super hot. I'm down to a t-shirt. Just having the oven on makes the van really warm. I can't wait to eat this. End of the day, I'm getting all the dishes washed now. I generally tend to just do the dishes once a day when I'm in the van by myself. Not just because I'm lazy, but maybe there's a bit of that there, but mainly just to save water. Even though it's really sunny here, I am parked up under this big tree. It's a deciduous tree, but it's actually not giving me enough sun on my solar panels to recharge my battery. This morning I'm at 55%, so I'm going to move the van, and I think I'm just going to move over to that grassy spot there and just park up there for the day so I can recharge the battery. I have a whole day here today, and I would really like the battery to be full. It's just too shady here. Just by moving the van, I've gone from pulling in 5 watts to now pulling in over 200. That should get the battery full pretty quickly. One thing I do want to acknowledge is obviously we live this lifestyle by choice. We've chosen to live in a van. Whether we're travelling or whether I'm stationary, it's definitely a choice that we've made to move out of a bricks and mortar house and into a house with wheels. I do want to acknowledge that there are people out there who are by no means choosing but having to live in vehicles, and we have seen increasing numbers of those people as we've journeyed around Australia. You know, there's definitely something broken with the housing crisis going on in our society, and we want to acknowledge those people. And just to make everyone else aware, you know, obviously we don't film them, but they're out there and increasing numbers. So yeah, while it is a choice for us, for other people, it's most definitely not a choice. Another question I get a lot is about loneliness. Do I get lonely and do I miss Nigel? In terms of loneliness, I think I've always been a bit of a loner and I really don't mind my own company. I'm quite happy to just spend time on my own and get a lot of work done. I can really focus when I'm on my own. But yeah, I mean, there's times when it is nice to have other human company. And I've been really fortunate here in Victoria. Not only do I have a really great friend who I've been able to visit here, but I've been able to spend some time with my mum, which has been actually really good, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. That's a whole nother story. And in terms of missing Nigel, well, the good news is I'm about to go and get him.
Here it is. There's the van, the little ripper. Welcome back to the van. How you going, you?
Hi. We hope you've enjoyed this video, which is quite different to our usual travel films. Join us next time when Nigel gets back behind the wheel. We do an amazing off-road drive and hike one of the steepest climbs we've ever done. Oh, and we stop into a couple of excellent country pubs for a beer. Thanks for watching. See you next time.